They have hostile agencies that are active in our intelligence and security organizations, and our leadership doesn't seem to have figured this out yet. They thwart loyal Arabic speakers who are Jewish or Christian from getting translator jobs. They make sure that top officials do not know what they want or need to know. They so much believe their own balderdash that they can defeat lie detector polygraph tests. It's a mindset. It's okay in their religion. It's even good to lie to and deceive the infidel. With that mindset, they run right over the polygraph. The war for our survival dates to 570 when Muhammad was born. He grew up in a harsh society, an orphan. Muhammad spent years out in the Arabian sun with caravans. Along the way, he was exposed to Judaism and Christianity and learned a little bit about it. But along the way, he's also got too much heat. He's a hustler. He married a rich widow, and then he began his ministry in Mecca. Muhammad's Islam teaches that the pagan Arabs, the Jews, and the Christians were awaiting a savior, and that he, Muhammad, was the one. In Mecca, Muhammad tried to be Christ-like and persuade people to follow him. He preached about love, charity, goodness, forgiveness. He didn't get very far. He never performed any miracles, and he annoyed a lot of people. He didn't develop any followers. After about 10 years, he and a gang of 12 were out of Mecca. He moved to Medina, and there he turned violent and hateful. He was filled with revenge, killing, plunder, slavery, extortion, and control. And that's what the Quran is about. The Quran, if any of you tried to read it, you find it very confusing. It's not organized in a chronological order in an understandably meaningful way. The first revelations come first, the longest. Those are first. The shortest are last. That's it. There's no rhyme or reason for it. There's no thread to follow. Muhammad established the rule of Quranic abrogation. That means that whatever Allah said yesterday or said in Mecca has been overruled by what he said later in Medina. That is a fickle Allah. My God is steadfast. Allah and God are not the same. Present-day Muslims spouting the peace and love spiel from Mecca are doing the BS and balderdash taqiyya thing. They're BSing us, they're fooling us, they're liars, but they're being true to Islam. But we have fools in this country who fall for those lies. They are the clergy, they're educators, they're politicians. We need to set them straight. You need to set them straight. The Quran is the religious side of the cult of Islam. It is the basis of Sharia law. Muhammad's hadiths are another important part. There are 7,000 rules and traditions based on Muhammad's life, his style, and they govern how Muslims are supposed to live. Muslims try to emulate Muhammad in every way. For example, Muhammad married Aisha, one of about 12 wives, when she was 6. So, this means that following the traditions of Muhammad, baby marriages are supported. That's pedophilia, whatever you want to call it. That's evil. He also had many other wives. He had slaves or concubines. Islam law permits polygamy, many wives, many slaves. There's a question. When so few men can own so many wives, what is left for the less fortunate men? I'm not going to answer that. You can figure it out. Women are chattel. Muhammad recommends in his hadiths how to beat wives and when to beat them. He teaches that women are inferior. In Sharia law, women inherit 1/2 of men. woman's testimony in a court does not equal that of a man. A complaint of rape is thus a confession of having sex out of wedlock, for which a woman can be stoned to death. The only way a charge can stand up, she has to have 4 male witnesses to testify on her behalf. Nice equality there. This is Sharia law. What Muslim outfits like the Council on American Islamic Relations want to impose right here, right now in the USA. Muhammad's stepson or nephew, I'm not sure which, married a beautiful woman whom Muhammad lusted after. That young man gave her up so that Muhammad could have her. She had no choice. Murdered former Lebanese Prime Minister Rafik Hariri was a relative nobody who was made a billionaire by a Saudi prince, then became Prime Minister. Hariri divorced his stunningly gorgeous wife, whom the Saudis lusted after, and gave her to the Saudi prince. Hariri was awarded with billions, but his wife had no choice. Terrorist extremists are merely good, honest Muslims emulating Muhammad. Osama bin Laden is a disciple of Muhammad. Is bin Laden being dishonest? No, he is a near-perfect Muslim. Muhammad promised rewards for the faithful, which includes those who blew themselves up in jihad, suicide bombers. In paradise, they're promised 72 ever virgin maidens and 28 tender prepubescent boys, as well as other pleasures. Islam is much harsher and much less forgiving than communism or fascism. Islam is just plain evil and has been around for 1,400 years. Most of Arabia and North Africa were Christian or Jewish when Muhammad came to power. Where did they all go? Muslims call critics like me racists. Not so. Islam is a social system, not a race. It's a political system, a cult. We can critically study Christianity or Judaism. Islam forbids any such criticism or questioning. Ask serious questions or criticize Muhammad, and you are condemned, as was Salman Rushdie, the Danish cartoonist, depicting Muhammad with a bomb in his bonnet, or Theo van Gogh, who was shot and butchered in the streets. Muslims can't stand the comparison. They can't stand the competition. They have to eliminate Christians, Jews, or anybody else, the Baha'is, Rastafarians, or anybody else that does not fall for their nonsense. Democracy and Islam are not, and never, ever will be compatible.